Right, hello guys. We're going to look at some British coins. This is a coin thing. Hi, welcome back. Sorry if you hear any noise in the background. The TV is on and my partner is watching telly, so I own no rights to any music or sounds that you hear. On that note, let's just get on with it. Okay, so British coins, how they change through the years. So we're going to have a look at three different types of coins. We've got the farthing, the halfpenny and the penny. So let's start with the farthing. Right. First one I'm looking at is the farthing. This one in particular is 1920 farthing. It's made out of bronze, and on the front there we can see the Britannia, seated Britannia, holding the trident in her left hand and the British shield in the left. Let's have a look under the scope, look at Britannia's face if we can. It's not in the best of conditions, this coin. Bit dirty, as you can see. Still, just quite a bit of detail there. Just needs a bit of a clean if you're into that sort of thing, which I'm not particularly into cleaning coins. And there's the trident right there. Yeah, I do have a composite cleaning pencil, which I have been using a little bit just to get some of the detail on the reverse, which we'll see in a minute. The seated Britannia on the farthing was designed by an engraver, a British engraver called Leonard Charles Wyon, and he designed this particular image during the Victorian period. And this particular style of farthing with the Britannia, they stopped using Britannia on the farthing in 1936. Okay, let's have a look at the other side. On the back there we got King George V, and this one was designed. I did use a composite pencil on this, just a tiny bit. I'll show you in a sec. But it was designed by Edgar Bertram McCannell, who's an Australian sculptor, and he designed coins and stamps with King George on, King George V. So if we look at this is where I used the pencil. We can see BM, which is Bertram McCannell. It looks like it's scratched, but it's not. It's composite cleaning. It's the first time we used it actually. It's actually quite good. I'm impressed. So yeah, there we have it. That's that farthing. This time we have another farthing. This one is dated 1945, and you can see the design has definitely changed. They changed this in 1937. And King George VI. So on the front here we have a wren. In fact, it's called a Eurasian wren. I'm getting my information from Numista and Bing, just in case you were wondering. And the designer of the wren was a chap called Harold Wilson Parker, and he was an artist, sculptor and engraver. And he died in 1980, sadly. Let's have a look at the wren under the scope. Quite good condition this, considering. There's the little wren. And if you're very lucky, you can see he's hopping around your garden. Tiny little things there. His feet. Okay, on the other side we have the bust of King George VI, and this design was made by, or this was designed by Thomas Humphrey Paget, who worked for the Royal Mint in 1936. onwards. Yeah, and if we look underneath King George's head there, we can see, should be able to see, right there, the engraver's mark, HP, Humphrey Paget. So as you can see, the farthing did change considerably. Still made of bronze, same shape, same size, a little bit tiny 1/2 mil thicker than the old one. So that's the farthing. Right then, the halfpenny. Okay, we can see it's changed in design over the years. So we'll look at the first one. This one is the excuse me, the 1927 halfpenny, and this is with King George V. So again, we can see it's not the best condition coin, to be fair. I could have picked a better one, sorry about that. But it's a seated Britannia. Again, the engraver was Leonard Charles Wyon, from Victorian times. He still used his design up until 1936 was the last year they used this on the halfpenny. Okay, you can't really. Let's have a look under the scope anyway. Yeah, you can see it's very worn indeed. But she's sitting down. She's supposed to be holding a British shield. Just make out her hand there, and around her feet should be the ocean, which you can just about see. Yeah, and they're trident there. Okay, so let's have a look at the back. Yeah, a bit of poor condition. I do believe this is one I found with a metal detector, to be fair. I can't remember exactly. There's no actual engraver's mark on the back of this one, but the engraver was again Edgar Bertram McKennell, who designed King George V bust for this particular time. So let's have a look. It's a bit worn. You can just about make out George's moustache right there. So there we have it. So this design, like I said, changed in 1937. Let's look at the next. Right, the next halfpenny. This is the 1966 version of the halfpenny, and we call this the ship halfpenny. So when we find these, we think, "Oh, ship halfpenny, awesome!" So anyway, this is Sir Francis Drake's ship on the front, called the Golden Hind. It was in a mid-16th century warship, and it sailed around the world in 1577 to 1580. At the start of the voyage, it was called the Pelican, but in honour of Sir Francis Drake's sponsor, Mr. Hatton, Sir Christopher Hatton, in 1578, he renamed it the Golden Hind, which is Hatton's family crest. So there we are. Right, let's have a look under the scope. Let's have a look at this ship. Hope you can see this alright. Nice flags on top of the masts. There's the rigging. And there we have HP, which is Sir Thomas Humphrey Paget's initials, Humphrey Paget, who was the engraver for this particular coin. And we have the cannons at the side, floating in the sea. So that was a Golden Hind. Happy days. On the reverse, this one we have Queen Elizabeth II, which is still our current monarch. The design for this one was Mary Gillick, and she was a sculptor, and she used this effigy of Her Majesty on British coins around the world from 1953 to 1970. This coin is again made in bronze. Let's have a look at Lizzie's hairstyle there. There she is. A little bit worn. There's no actual engraver's mark on this coin, but still a nice little coin. This one was this particular design of halfpenny was used from 1937 onwards. Now then, in 1971, they decided to change the halfpenny again, and much to the annoyance of the British people, it was a small one. And judging by the amount of these things I find with my metal detector, people lost them an awful lot. Okay, this one is made of bronze, and it's smaller than the Farthing, so you can imagine it's really irritating to have in your pockets or your purses, whatever. So anyway, this is a 1971 version of the halfpenny. The front side there was designed by Christopher Ironside, who was a coin designer and an English painter, and he designed this coin, so thanks, Chris. Anyway, let's have a look around the edges there. Got a nice pattern design. Then we got the half, the denomination there, and this one here is the crown of St. Edward. There we are. So on the reverse of this particular coin, we have, this one is dated 1977, and then we have Queen Elizabeth II again, and she's actually wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. There we are. And the design of this one was Arnold Machin, and he was a British artist, sculptor and coin and stamp designer. So he had many roles. So that is a 1977 halfpenny, and all the halfpennies through the years. Right, next we're looking at the 1 penny. Great difference in size on today's version. But on the front now we can see this is the 1931 design. It's made out of bronze, and it's quite a big penny. So this one again was the design of this. The seated Britannia was again Leonard Charles Wyon again. And if we look at Britannia, she's sitting down, holding the British shield in her right hand, surrounded by the sea, and in her left hand holding her trident. And on the reverse, again we've got oh my god, King George V, and again this design was Edgar Bertram McCannell, but on this particular coin he didn't put the coin makers didn't put his initials on. So in this one we can see his moustache a bit more prominent. Good old George. So that's the 1931 penny, and this particular design went up to 1936. If we look at this one, this is 1967. So in 1937, the design changed. Can you see the difference? Again, it's seated Britannia, but they've added a little extra. Yeah, sorry about that. The phone rang. Right, this is the next penny. This is the 1967 version, and the difference between them is they've added a lighthouse. Let's have a look under the scope. There is a lighthouse right next to Britannia. This is the Eddystone Lighthouse, and seafarers that have been to Plymouth will know what this is. It's basically on top of some submerged rocks called the Eddystone Rocks, which is about 9 miles south, I believe, of Rame Head in Cornwall. So, by the way, Rame Head is an awesome fishing spot, I'm just saying. Okay. And this one was designed by the lighthouse, and everything was designed by Charles Walter Coombs, who was a sculptor and designer. On the reverse, we have Elizabeth II. Again, this one's designed by Mary Gillick, who was a sculptor for her coins, British coins, 1953 to 1970. Okay, let's go to the next penny. Right, so this is the 1 penny as we know it today. Not that one. This one here. This one is the 2005 version. Upon 1971, the age of decimalisation, they created this penny here, and it is made out of copper-plated steel. So as metal detectorists will know, when we find these in the ground, they are trashed, usually. Okay, so on the front here, we've got a crowned portcullis, which, interestingly enough, is the adaptation of the badge of Henry VII, which now the Palace of Westminster use this symbol as well. Let's have a look under there. You see the chains next to it as well. There's the chains. The portcullis, there's one for 1 pence. Here's the portcullis with the crown, and that's from the badge of King Henry VII. Okay, so interesting. By the way, that's made by designed by Christopher Ironside, and he was a coin designer and an English painter, and he was paid to design coins for the new decimalised coins, 1971. Okay, on the reverse we have Queen Elizabeth II, and she's wearing the Girls of Great Britain and Ireland tiara. You can't see it very well on this one, it's a bit grubby. And underneath you see IRB, which is Ian Rank Broadley, and he designed this particular design of Queen Elizabeth. He was a British sculptor. He worked on several coins actually. So there we have it. The age of the penny. Right, so that's it for this episode of A Coin Thing. I hope you found something interesting at least, and maybe learned something. If you did, you're welcome, and thank you for joining me on my learning journey of British coinage. As always, I shall see you all on the next one.